Well,
But you look at his numbers, right? 139 strike rate, international T20s, 50 on average.
He's never played in India before. We don't know how he plays against spin.
He'd be good.
He's a good player, but he's not a 9 crore player. He had a very average season. He's, as Sanjay Manjrekar says, a BNP player.
BNP player, yeah.
They're great like veggies and potatoes, but they're not the meat, right? They're not
Great
the super...
veggies and potatoes. Shivaan, Shah, that is a unbelievable statement.
Come here for these analogies.
We're back with another Man's Life dressing room. The SNS show is back, guys. Shivaan and Suhail are back. Here to talk about the auction. And Shivaan, I know there's so much we always talk about, man. We talk about the IPL auction, what it means to the teams coming into a big IPL season. And for the first time, every single team had a buy of more than 10 CR, which was big spending. I'm not sure if all of it was smart.
No, it was like Christmas, but there were a lot of steals as well in this auction. There were 200 players, more than 200 players sold, but when talk about steals, the first person I have to talk about is Quinton de Kock. I mean, 6.75 crore, two-time IPL champion, one of the best wicket-keepers in the world. I think he was the buy of the auction in my opinion.
You know, for me, the other factor is actually availability. A lot of guys we talked about aren't available for some duration, might start the IPL, might not finish the IPL. Quinton, because he's actually sort of pegged himself back in South African colours.
Retired.
He's available.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm with you totally. To me, actually, Chahal. Unbelievable buy. You've got Yuzi and Ashwin. Okay, I know a lot of people are talking about Ashwin's stock dropping. But for RR, Ashwin and Chahal as a combo
Chahal
at 5 and 6.5, that's
11.5
crores. Unbelievable steal.
He's picked up 18 wickets in each of the last 3 IPLs.
At Chinnaswamy, let's be honest. I mean,
exactly.
not the easiest place for a spinner.
And he's going to bowl at the Sawai Mansingh Stadium, where it's a huge ground. They're going to do really well.
Yeah.
And I think one sneaky buy, people aren't talking about him enough, it's Timal Mills. You all haven't heard of him because everyone talks about the 2017 season where he was terrible, 13 crore, all that. But he's one of the best death bowlers in the world. Like, Mumbai are one of the best teams analytically. They do the scouting.
Yeah.
So I think Timal Mills, he bowls great at the death. Definitely watch out for him.
Brilliant slow balls as well. I think actually Timal Mills had a very good 100 in England. He's been excellent around the world. And you look at him now, I think he's a very different bowler to when he was picked up for that 13 crore buy. So Timal Mills, I'm with you. The other buy for me, and because of the team that he went to, is Devin Conway. I think CSK again have actually built one of the best squads in terms of depth. And Conway and Ruturaj Gaikwad, I think Conway will do exactly what Faf du Plessis did.
Not exactly, slightly lower level.
But you look at his numbers, right? 139 strike rate, international T20s, 50 on average.
He's never played in India before. We don't know how he plays against spin.
He'd be good. I think Devin Conway is a very complete player. He's a really smart player as well. Also, he gives you a keeping option if MSD has a sore back, if he's not feeling great. Slot in Conway with the gloves as well. I just think, given that he's going to CSK with another side, I think very different buy. But I think CSK has the ability to squeeze the best out of a player. So you've got Ruturaj, Conway, and then you've got suddenly Moeen Ali. And it looks like a really solid top 3.
Now, when we look at solid top 3s, let's look at the worst buys. Got someone like
Hang on, one sec. Before we go to worst buys, David Warner, man, we can't ignore him. 6.25 at DC.
Yeah.
That is an unbelievable buy.
It's the prodigal son returns. It's captaincy. It's David Warner and Prithvi Shaw for around 11 crores. That's an amazing.
And then Mitch Marsh at 3.
And man.
So,
Delhi top 4 is one of the best top 4s in IPL history.
Can we say one more steal, please? Just for sheer IPL value. Karan Sharma, man, going to RCB. Now, RCB don't have a single trophy. What do? They bring in Karan Sharma who has more trophies than anyone and has probably played less games per trophy as well than anyone. So that's a lucky buy. That's a Dan Christian type of...
They tried that last year, but it didn't work.
Yeah, with
so
DC.
I don't know how it's going to work this year. So let's move on to the
worst buys.
Worst buys. I think number 1 for me is Rahul Tewatia. I think Gujarat just had that one innings on loop while they were bidding for him against Punjab Kings. He's a good player, but he's not a 9 crore player. He had a very average season. He's, as Sanjay Manjrekar says, a BNP player.
BNP player, yeah.
So 9 crore.
It's funny that 1 over did 2 things. It gave Tewatia 9 CR, it gave Sheldon Cottrell no contract. It was pretty simple, right? And yeah, I'm with you. I think they went pretty much on that 1 over, those 4 sixes from Tewatia.
5 actually.
5 actually, yeah, 5 sixes. I think Shivam Mavi for me at KKR, 7.25. It's a little high because also injury prone, still untested, 7.25 for someone like that, and a Nitish Rana at 8. Suddenly you spend 15.25 CR on 2 guys who I don't know how many games they're going to win you.
Played one game for India between them. So yeah, definitely. If you look at Chetan Sakaria going for 4, and then if you look at Shivaan going for 7, it gives you a little bit with the bat, but I think it's more potential and nostalgia. And one more pick I'm going to go for, it's Krunal Pandya. As a Mumbai fan or ex-Mumbai fan, I loved Krunal Pandya, but over the last 3 years, he's not the Krunal Pandya we've had before.
Correct. Well, that's why MI didn't even bother retaining him, right?
They didn't even bid
They didn't even
for
try
him.
to bid,
They
exactly.
didn't even bid for him. So with the bat, he's no longer the player he was, and with the ball, people have found him out. He's just going to use that quicker ball. So
it's not like he's got a carom ball or a different delivery.
The thing is, they have Jason Holder, they have Marcus Stoinis, they have Deepak Hooda as all-rounders. They could have used that money to buy a better death bowler.
As well
exactly. So they didn't need to spend that money on Krunal Pandya.
I'm with you on Krunal. And the last name maybe in that list, Romario. Obviously, look, he's done big things around the world in T10 and T20 cricket, but I don't know, again, untested entity, you come into a squad like that. I think it was a bit of a desperate buy.
He's never played in India.
Correct.
He's played one game now in India. So SRH, I think they didn't have any players, but they had the purse, so they just kept bidding. I mean,
I want to know what actually was happening at that SRH table, because you had on one side Brian Lara and Hemang Badani, you had Simon Cattish, Tom Moody, and yet Kavya Maran was on the phone to someone. I would love to know, and I know a lot of us, I was with Akash and Sanjay in the auction as well, and we all wondered, who is she talking to? Like, who are you talking to? Unless BVS Lakshman was a de facto sort of entity there, but I don't think that was the case either. So, Kavya, who were you talking to?
What advice were they giving you? Because they had 8 fast bowlers and she's still bidding on Jofra Archer. You're not going to play. She's still bidding on all these fast bowlers. So, now we can move on to the best teams.
Teams, let's do best teams, because for me, there's a couple of teams initially that come to mind. DC with their playing 11, I think, are outstanding. But overall, I think what Gautam Gambhir and Andy Flower did at Lucknow, for a new team, especially Shivaan, coming in, historically they've not had great auctions, but unbelievable side that I think Lucknow have been able to build.
I think their first 11, it doesn't have any weak link, which you can
none.
say for a lot of the teams. The only one weak link I'd say is death bowling, but Avesh Khan and Jason Holder are decent death bowlers. They're not bad death bowlers.
But then you've got Mark Wood in there. I would put Dushmanta Chamira, honestly, in that mix as well. So for me, Lucknow, I don't think have any gaps. I'm with you. I think another side, DC, you look at that team, Shaw, Warner, Marsh, Pant, Kona Bharat maybe, Rovman, Aksar, Shardul,
Kuldeep as well.
Yashdul. I just think there's no gaps in DC as well. I mean, you don't even need to go beyond the top 4 or 5 to bat.
Their batting is scary
Unbelievable.
Good, but I'm going to put one more caveat. I'm playing devil's advocate. Their bowling from last season has gone from Anrik Nokia, Avesh Khan from Kahiso Robada to
Sakaria,
Anrik Nokia, Khalil Ahmed, Shardul Thakur. I mean, Lord Shardul Thakur, but he defies logic. But at some point, the regression is going to start. But it's a good team compared to other teams. You can pick holes in every team, but DC, they're more shored up compared to the other teams.
And I don't think Mitch Marsh is going to give you as much bowling as you would like. I think he's there for the batting as well. I think another side that did really well is CSK. Underrated, I think, at the auction in some sense. But when you look at depth, and I think I have to talk of depth here because we're in COVID times. You look at the depth of that squad. A lot of people won't even mention a Chris Jordan in there, a Mitch Santner coming in late. But Ruturaj, Conway, Moin, Raidu, Dubey/Robin Uthappa, Jaddu, Dhoni, Bravo, they've got a backup in Pretorius. You've got a Santner, Tikshana, Deepak Chahar, yes, 14 crores, but still a good buy. I know you're waiting to say something here,
I'm
but
saying that
Adam Milner,
Suhail is
Solanki.
contractually obligated to say CSK is good. But no, I agree. If MS Dhoni is leading this team, they're going to go to the top 4. My only concern is when MS Dhoni is pulled out of this team, what happens? Because he is the one pulling the show. He's the puppeteer.
But look, MS I think is going to be around for a long time. Whether he's playing, whether he's in that dressing room, not our dressing room, unfortunately. MS, you're welcome to join us. But he's going to be a part of that setup for a while. It's also the ethos and the culture that they're building, right? You've got guys who understand the way, and therefore they've been around long enough to carry on the MSD culture. So I think as long as Fleming's there, as long as the CSK ethos is the same, they will continue.
You can never doubt Chennai.
No, you can't. And I think the last team I want to talk about is Punjab Kings. Historically, shocking at the auction, average at the auction. This time, damn good at the auction.
Wow.
Shah Rukh Khan, Odean Smith, Livingston, Bairstow, Shikhar, Mayank. I mean, Rabada, Ashdeep Chahar. Wow, man. I mean, that is an exciting sight to me.
When I look at Punjab, I'm waiting for that one player who they've overpaid for, who makes no sense. Like, you've got Maxwell, you've got Jai Richardson, Riley Meredith of the over the years. But this season, every buy has been astute. It's been a value pick, and it's a 6-hitter or it's a wicket taker.
And then you've got someone like a Raj Baba at 2 crore as well coming in.
They have projects.
Yeah.
They have a great team.
Even Banuka Rajapaksa, right, at 50 lakhs, I think that was a steal. You've got someone like a Nathan Ellis.
Benny
at
Howell.
18. Benny
Watch
Howell.
out for Benny Howell.
Yeah.
60 lakhs from England.
40
lakhs, I'm
even,
sorry.
Even cheaper.
Even cheaper. So
Yeah.
Punjab, historically bad team, but
the steal for me there, Rahul Chahar, 5.25 under Anil Kumble. Man, that could be superb to watch.
so now we're talking about Punjab, who used to be a bad team. Now we can move on to the teams who we think are going to be bad this year. And number 1 is Gujarat Titans.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know what Ashish Nehra was doing. I'm sorry. We all saw those videos.
I love Ashish Nehra. I really, he's one of my dear friends who is a golf addict with me, and I love you, Ashupa. But yeah, I think we all agree coming into that, especially the second day of the auction, we thought already they were a bit all over the place, right? It seemed like they didn't come in with a plan. They were better off after day 2. I think a few underrated buys in there. Alzari Joseph I thought was a good buy. But again, it's just a bit of a BNP sign.
Yeah. I think for the longest time they thought that you don't have to play a wicketkeeper. I know they got Shah and Matthew Wade at the end, but the biggest problem with Gujarat is Shubman Gill as an Indian batsman. And then I'm just looking...
Yeah, where? I think they'll have to bat Saha at 3. I mean, Vijay Shankar will have to come in and have a gun season.
You hope Hardik Pandya has some sort of time machine where he can go back to 2017 or 2019.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be the hard part, right? How do you make Hardik Pandya in 2022 go back to Hardik Pandya of 2017? I think it's pretty impossible. So unless Hardik and Rahul Tewatia have a mind-blowing season, I think it's going to be a tough one for Gujarat.
It's Gujarat and the other team is Hyderabad.
RCB?
It's RCB are also like similar to Gujarat. They only have Virat Kohli as your captain, as your Indian player.
It's the Indian Premier League.
I know. They have to play Anuj Rawat and they have to play Mahipal Lomror, which is a bit sad.
I mean, you're expecting like 500 runs from Mahipal Lomror. Look, if he gives it to you, fantastic. I wish him well. But you've got Virat, Faf, Maxi, and then what? Dinesh. Dinesh is not playing any cricket, Shivaan. Like, he's playing no cricket. He's probably doing more commentary than playing cricket.
He'll be great with Danish State in the YouTube video.
He will be. Dinesh will have... Look, Dinesh is a gun cricketer, sure. But again, Dinesh isn't playing much cricket. So I don't know in terms of match fitness. And then you didn't play Hasaranga, but you bought him back at 10.75, man. I mean, what? I don't know. That's a tough one.
So, and we're moving on to Hyderabad. I think it's a great team if they had a superstar, but they don't have any superstar. You lost Warner, you lost Bairstow, you lost Rashid Khan, and now you're replacing them with role players like Aiden Markram, Nicholas Puran. They're great like veggies and potatoes, but they're not the meat, right? They're not
great
the
veggies and potatoes. Shivaan Shah, that is a unbelievable statement.
Come here for these analogies.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, the dressing room is now going to shut shop, but we got all our copious notes done. The auction is done. Shivaan, overall,
it's going to be an exciting IPL, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Lovely auction, lovely dressing room chat. Shivaan, thanks as well. But guys, more when we head into the IPL. For now, it's time for us to calm down and shut up.